So, let me ask you this. There are some people who believe that when you're trying to crawl your way out of debt, you do the debt snowball. You list from smallest balance to largest balance, even if the smaller balance is a certain percentage. I believe you feel that the debt avalanche is more advantageous than the snowball, correct?
Well, I'm not familiar with the term avalanche. I think the snowball comes from Dave Ramsey, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's supposed to be more psychological. Like, hey, I knock these small ones out, then I take that payment and apply it to the next one. Whereas some people say, hey, we just list it from the highest interest rate first, and then we knock out the highest interest rates and work like that, because you're going to ultimately save more money by paying off the higher interest rate loans before you pay off the lower interest rate loans.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit of a hard case in how I think about these things. So there's a lot written, and not just about debt payment, but about investing in finance that is designed to cater to people's psychology, right? So the snowball is, as you called it, the idea is that you have a bunch of different debts, and it's psychologically satisfying to get something completely paid off. So what you should do is you should find the smallest debt you have, and pay that off to get that psychological carrot, if you will, for having done it. And the idea is that then maybe that encourages you to pay off more debt because you've gotten that psychic reward. And I suppose if you need that psychic reward, then maybe that's what you need to do. But for me, I say better to change your psychology, because the most financially effective way to do it, should be pretty obvious, is to look at all the debt you have and say, where am I paying the highest interest rate? Because that's the most expensive debt. And whether it's the largest debt or the smallest debt, pay off that. I mean, because paying that off is what puts more money in your pocket quicker, or more accurately, it's what prevents more money from going out of your pocket quicker. So I say change your psychology, focus on paying down that expensive debt, and do that first. So I'm not a fan of psychological crutches. Now, having said that, if you know yourself well enough to know, and you say, hey, JL, if I don't get a little psychic reward once in a while, I'm not going to stick to it, then God bless you. Maybe Dave Ramsey is on to something that I'm not onto. But if it were me, I go with where the numbers take me.
Well, and I agree with you, because I believe that when you're trying to crawl your way out of debt, whether it's $10,000 or $100,000, every penny counts.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you save an extra $10 a month by paying off the higher interest rate first, then you could throw that into your payment next month. So I think you have to try to knock out the highest interest rate loans first. And I will say this: when you're talking about debt, I can still remember to this day when we became debt free. I remember the morning when I actually looked at all my accounts and they were paid off, and I went to work. I just felt like a different person. I felt like I was empowered. I didn't feel like I was going to work for Bank of America or Chase or anything. I felt like I was going to work for my family. So I do think you have to get out of debt as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost literally like for however many years you had the debt, every day you walk out of that door and you're dragging this ball and chain along. And maybe you even get so used to it, you don't even notice it. But suddenly, if it's unshackled and drops away from you, you're like, holy cow, this feels great. I am much lighter in body and spirit than I ever dreamed I could possibly be. Getting out of debt is one of the great gifts you can give yourself and your family.